Hello class 8. Dear students, myself Reena Mishra from SGEC welcome you all again on that SGEC e-learning classes. Class 8, today we are going to study our first chapter in literature, The Adventure of Blue Carbuncle. Before I describe this story, I just want to tell you the meaning of carbuncle, the term carbuncle. You know that the meaning of carbuncle means a gem, a precious stone. But nowadays, writers don't use that word carbuncle for precious stone or for anything that is valuable. Why? The reason is that carbuncle nowadays takes as the meaning for blemish, and blemish does not go well with precious stone. That's why we don't use word carbuncle. But the time when the story was written, writer used to write this term for the precious stone. So the adventure of the blue carbuncle means the adventure of the blue precious gem or precious stone. So before describing this story, I just want to give you a short description of the writer. I am quite sure you must have heard about Sherlock Holmes and his friends, his renowned friends, Dr. Watson. And you know that Sherlock Holmes and his friend Dr. Watson they were the creation of renowned author Arthur Conan Doyle. Actually, the narrator Arthur Conan Doyle fond of writing detective series. He was founder of Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson that are really immortal characters of literature. Sir Arthur Conan Doyle was born in Edinburgh, Scotland, and he was a novelist and writer of detective and science fiction. And I told you, as he was the founder of Sherlock Holmes and his friend Dr. Watson, that are immortal characters in literature. And some of his works are A Study in Scarlet, The Sign of Four, The Adventure of Sherlock Holmes, and The Hound of Baskervilles. And this story, The Adventure of Blue Carbuncle, is a kind of extract that is adapted from Sherlock Holmes' mystery that is written by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. Now let's start with the summary. But before telling you the summary, I just want to tell you one thing. If we are reading The Adventure of Blue Carbuncle, you might find it through it to keep track of all the happenings in this lesson. We will take a look at the plot as well as an analysis of how events reflect a bigger picture. Actually, this story takes a few twists and turns, and his Paul Sherlock tries to figure out the identity of jewel thief. With this, let's dive in and follow the pair in their investigation. Let's start with the summary. In the very beginning, we got a solid introduction to what the adventure will be about. Sherlock tells Watson that at 4 o'clock on Christmas, a man named Peterson was heading home when he saw a tall man get into an altercation with a few hooligans. The man ends up dropping his hat and a dead goose. Meanwhile, Sherlock is sitting in front of his fire with man's hat as the man discusses ways to find the hat's owner. Now, see, as you can see in the picture also, after that, Sherlock started to make some deductions. Now, let's talk about the deduction made by Sherlock. Sherlock deduces that the man is intellectual because the hat size is large, and he thinks that a man with so large brain must have something in it. He also decides that the man has recently lost a fortune because his hat was expensive 3 years ago, but not in the best condition now. He also deduces that the man has recently had his hair cut and uses lime cream in his hair. He also deduces that the wife no longer loves him because the hat has not been brushed in a long time. And meanwhile, when they are chatting, Peterson rushes in and tells Watson and Sherlock that the goose which his wife cooked contained a stolen gem. Stolen gem what? As I told you before, a blue carbuncle. Blue carbuncle, which was all over the news. A man named Orner had been fingered for the theft. Orner protested his innocence in the strongest term, but no one believes him. They decide that they need to find the mysterious man who was holding the dead goose in order to get the bottom of the theft. They put ads in the newspaper saying that they have the man's hat and he can get it back by catching them. And again, this story gets a kind of twist in it. They went to a goose salesman who is grumpy and not too interested in answering questions about goose. Holmes tricks the salesman, and salesman takes out ledger to prove Holmes wrong, and after pointing out the origin of the goose, and Holmes gladly accepted his defeat. As they head off, they overhear a man who also sounds desperate to find goose. Watson and Holmes follow the man and came to know that this is James Reader, the one who accused John Orner of stealing the gem. Actually, James Reader is one who accused Orner being a thief, and he himself was a branded thief. He confessed at the last. Holmes takes Reader to the place, and Reader comes completely clean, explaining that he had framed John Orner because he knew that he had a criminal past and it won't take much to convince the police he was guilty. As far as the goose is concerned, Reader's sister was a goose farmer, and Readers decide to jam the gem in a goose's throat in order to transport it without suspicion. But despite his plan, he ends up taking the wrong goose, which left the jammed goose. And that is to be purchased by the man in the hat. Here, at last, what happened? At last, Sherlock leaves James Reader. Sherlock let Reader to go. Why? And he did not got him arrested by the police because James Reader was so embarrassed, and he confessed his guilty, and he admitted that he could not enjoy with the stolen money. He told that he was struggling within himself. That's why Sherlock let him go, and he told to Watson that he would never commit this kind of mistake again, as he was struggling within himself, struggling with his own conscience. The story takes an end with this. Dear students, this video is the part 1 with summary and introduction of the story. Now, in our next part, we will be discussing question answers and notes, and also line-to-line explanation of the story. Till then, goodbye.